Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd much rather hear Gareth's presentation, I promise you, and I think you'll find at the end of this that his has been much more interesting than mine. But I was so pleased to hear what was just said about the potential for this mill building here, because having opened the Bamford University Training College last year in Staffordshire, and having seen just how remarkably effective this can be, I'm so thrilled that here in Burnley there is to be another one, and as you say, I'm sure it will make an enormous difference to the whole future of the town and the area. After all, Burnley and the area here in Lancashire has so many of the best skills in engineering, precision engineering, aerospace and so on. We have to find a way to make sure that continues, and also to produce the kind of skills to fill those shortages that we've just heard about. Anyway, I'm thrilled, if I may say so, to be able to come back to Burnley, even for this short time, before I have to rush back to the Regeneration Express for heading down to Burslem, one of the potteries towns, where, believe it or not, we managed to save, with my Regeneration Trust, one of the last intact Victorian potteries, called Middleport, which has been quite a battle, but that has saved some 50 jobs, and that particular pottery is very successful and produces some very special different kinds of ware which are exported all around the world. So I'm rather hoping that we can now use that as a means of trying to help with the regeneration of Burslem, just so that perhaps we can demonstrate some of the approaches which I hope have been of some value here in Burnley over the last 3 or 4 years, that we've all managed to work together with some 12 of my charities under the remarkably energetic leadership of Dame Julia Cleverden and David Feldman, who have done such incredible work between them. And I'm enormously grateful to them for giving up so much of their time, but also to all my charities who, again, I hope have managed to work successfully with the local authority, and Steve Rumbelow and the whole council have been so marvellous at working together. I hope we've been able to bring an added value from a partnership approach through the public, private and NGO community sectors. And this, I hope demonstrates what can be achieved. For instance, my Prince's Trust, I think, has devoted some 2% of its entire budget to Burnley over the last 3 years, and that has meant that we have been able to deal with the 900 not in education, employment or training, young people here in Burnley. They have been through some program or other, and I hope that some of that has led at least to greater self-confidence, self-esteem, and further opportunities. So I hope, ladies and gentlemen, that we can continue to work together in Burnley, and of course that this model of collaborative working may be replicated in other deprived areas of the country. And I'm rather hoping that we can develop links between Burnley and Burslem, and indeed between Burnley and Redcar and Middlesbrough, where I was yesterday, because half the battle now, I think, is for people from these other areas to discover that actually some of this can be made to work and can be quite effective. So I just wanted to end by paying a particular tribute, if I may, to Robert, half of the Northwest RDA, for his incredibly practical support for Burnley. For instance, just assembling the land around the Weaver's Triangle, as well as funding this, my charity's partnership, has made the whole difference. And we could not have done it without the RDA's help. And I do hope that it will be shown one day to have been a really valuable and far-sighted investment in terms of the future of Burnley. And the only thing, of course, remains for me to say is that I know the fortunes of Burnley. I do follow them very closely, and particularly in terms of whether there will be a successful outcome to the bid to the Regional Growth Fund to reinstate the Todmorden curve. And I believe the Council are increasingly optimistic that the bid might be accepted, because it would make an enormous difference to reduce the time spent in the train by half between Manchester and here. So I look forward, I hope, to hearing some good news in due course. So, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe that Burnley will repay all our investment in the longer term. And again, I can't thank you enough, all of you, for the interest, enthusiasm and support you've given to all this. Thank you.